All right. Hey guys. Today is Monday, the 18th of January. And of course, it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So wanted to go ahead and just do a quick review of his chart per actually a special request from somebody. So happy to do that. And just wanted to review a couple of things really quickly beforehand. Obviously, we are right on the precipice of Inauguration Day, and all of us, I'm sure, are feeling very, very tense and possibly nervous, but just want to remind everybody that God is in control. And I truly do feel like and believe that although we may go through some challenges and some more difficult times, in the end, I truly believe we will be victorious. All right, so keep hope alive, and remember, at the end of the day, God wins no matter what. God's in control. So with that being said, I also wanted to remind everybody to make sure to visit the link tree that I have up in the bio for my Instagram page. And that has a whole bunch of links that I've put up there for you. Everything from the Unstoppable Domains website link, where you can get your .crypto website URL, the uncensored, you can't hack into those websites, so you can get that started there. It's only $40. I also have links for the GSX coins, the Ledger Nano crypto wallets, Kraken accounts, and so much more. So if you have any questions about that stuff, feel free to let me know. Oh, and then also the one I'm really excited about is the Ascent Nutrition link that I put up there. I also included a link to the YouTube for the Michael Jaco video where they're talking about these supplements, and the the pine pollen tincture that they're currently sold out of, that I was super interested in getting. But yeah, make sure to check that out. Okay. All right. So with this chart, when I do somebody's chart, it is a rarity. I think I can only remember one time that I was really surprised at what the chart was and what, as opposed to what I was expecting it to be. And that would have been for Donald Trump's, just because I was expecting all sorts of eights in there, and he has 0 eights in his chart. Of course, 8 being power, money, and karma. But it wasn't there. So that chart really it did teach me a lot more about the numbers that he does have in his chart. And it was one that definitely stood out to me as very surprising. Hey, Susie Q. And so with every other chart, though, especially for more high profile people that I do readings on, sorry, just looking at an update. I generally am not surprised at all. It just reads out like a sheet of music or something. So the same, happened with MLK's chart. It's just really, really telling of someone who was divinely purposed and had the best for everybody in mind. And that was a big part of why they were, obviously put here on this planet. So starting out with the life path number, as we all know, if you've been watching the videos, life path is your destination. That's the destination energy. So we're talking about, the ultimate purpose and why you're here. A lot of us may not exhibit the attributes of our life path number until maybe our latter years of life, and into the 40s and such. It's not always the case, but for the most part. And for MLK, his life path is the number 1. So the male dominant leader. I mean, it's blatantly obvious that he was very much a leader, and he was very dominant, and he did carry a lot of masculine energy, attributes with him. But this was, one is the alpha, so one is a very, very strong and upfront leader. But once again, it is new beginnings. It also represents individuality. So there will be, no one else on the planet like this person. They're the one and only. And that's absolutely the case for MLK. There will never be another one. He's very special. And his legacy, of course, will last forever, So that's very telling to that life path and what he was put here to do. Now, he carried with him every day, for his everyday energy, his birthday energy was the 6, which is pretty interesting. So again, your birthday energy is the parts of you that stay the same from birth until death. They never change. Those things go to support your life path, your ultimate life path, right? So his birthday was, a 6. He was born on the 15th. So that's a 6, and the 6 is the love of home and family and everything that surrounds the family and things that are sacred. So traditions, holidays, but again, just warmth at home and family love. So I can tell that he was definitely somebody that considered family important and sacred. And those were the most important things. And those were the parts of him he carried every single day that helped to ultimately define his purpose. At the end of the day, they helped to build up to his purpose. They helped him every day to walk that, that road, that journey. So, somebody with a birthday of 6, I would expect to have just a very welcoming personality. If you were to meet them as a stranger, they would be the type of person that you would feel like family around, just automatically, just a warm and soft person, to just energy in general. So even though we have that very strong male dominant leader of the 1, he walked in love. He walked in love, and everything that he did, he loved. So that was his everyday energy. So what's really interesting about MLK's chart to me, so I did just the regular Martin Luther King, and then I did Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with the Dr. and Jr. added to it. And I have 2 separate, charts for these 2 readings. And for the expression number and the personality number on both charts, they're the same number. On just the MLK chart, his expression number is the Master 11, as is his personality number. So once again, the expression number is how we do things, how and why we do things based upon our numbers, based upon environmental factors, influences, so on and so forth. And our personality number is how we are seen. So both in how he did things as well as how he was seen, this energy was the same. It's the divine connection of the 11, the master intuitive. So he was somebody that was very in touch with the divine, tapped into the divine somehow. And he was seen that way. Obviously he was a reverend. So he carried himself that way and was very much seen that way. I know we all have, there's controversies that are heard, especially about high profile people. We don't know, what's true, what's not true, and nobody's perfect. But I would say even so, the man showed absolute divine connection to in his life and what he was purposed to do and how he was seen. And when I do the Dr. Junior chart, it changes from the expression and the personality from 11 to 7. So the 7 is another one of the 3 leadership numbers. That's the person. That's the strategist. That's brilliance. It's perfection, precision, analysis, and secrets. So there's, what this is feeling more like for me is secrets. A lot of times when I pull 7, a high 7, like for Trump, he is high 7s on his personality and heart's desire, but that is strategy and brilliance on his chart. In this chart with the Dr. Junior, that's about secrets. As far as I'm able to sense. I'm sure there was much he had to be secretive of and about, all things considered. I apologize. My mom is in the kitchen, guys. So But moving on first, heart's desires. Heart's desires actually the same in both charts, which is, again, just reads like a sheet of music to me. It's the 9. So the 9, sorry guys, there we go. Sorry guys. So our heart's desire on both charts is the 9. So we have a 1 life path as the alpha, and then we have the 9 as the omega, okay? And it's also, the 9 is the wrapping up of cycles to prepare for a new. It's the ending of things. It's like the Tower card, okay? But that's as a general, but when you're talking about a person, a 9 as a person, that is what I call the John Morgan number, right? It's the for the people number. And 9s are they're for the better good. They're for the better good of humanity. They want a better humanity. And one of the things that really speaks to me about the 9, especially in recent months, is the fact of the healing attributes that the 9 carries with it as a person. 9s are generally healers. And I really do think that MLK he was somebody that wanted to bring peace, He preached that. He preached peace. So he wanted healing of nations. He wanted healing of his people. And he wanted reconciliation of, just the corruption and the hatred out there that was brought into our existence and into our country, into our consciousness by those who still work to try to control us. And I will say this, it's not a conspiracy type thing or what have you. I mean, you just look into many assassinations, and I absolutely believe that those that are, doing certain things now and did certain things to other people, such as JFK and others, are responsible for MLK's death and taking him from us. And I mean, he would absolutely fit their profile for somebody to take out. This is somebody who's coming and preaching peace to a people in which they've tried to destroy, the black community for many, many decades. We see this in Planned Parenthood and quotes by Margaret Sanger, famed eugenist whose idol was Hitler. We see it with the fact that abortion is now taken out over half of the black population. So this was somebody that was working to bridge and heal. And that's what that 9 is all about. MLK was a healer, and he was for the better. He wanted to make everything better. He wanted to bring us together. It's what he stood for. So, as I said before, not at all surprising to me. I think more than anything, the 7s in there pulling towards secrets is kind of a little bit more, I don't want to say surprising, but more intriguing to me, because it is strongly, a sense of secrets and not strategy, not a plan, not like that. But a couple of things that Prime Minister today did a little bit of numerology. Shout out to Prime for doing that. I'm a little bit upset with him that he didn't call me to do it with him, but what else? Looking into a couple of the different dates that and a couple of other different numbers that go along with this. He was mentioning something about a March 6 or a 306, right? So we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so he was murdered on April 4th, 1968. So that's 4-4. The 4, as we know, is the builder, and it's also justice. The overall day, that day was a 5. So those two numbers, if you've seen any of my videos before, you know that when you have two numbers, sequentially right next to each other, they're going to be of opposing energies, right? So having a 4 and a 5 together as a daily, and then the overall energy of the day is a bit of contrast going on there. So I can see how that would represent the opposite of justice in that case, if we're looking at it from a symbology perspective. But 5, of course, being change. 5, for the most part, is joy. It's movement, travel, and indulgence, pleasures, things of that nature. But in this sense, it was chaos. That's what it was. That's why it was chosen to intentionally take away the justice and the builder of the 4, that energy, and to just implement chaos. And as I'm sure ensued, when MLK was murdered. There's a reason that they do things on the dates that they do, guys, and we gotta always take a look at those things. Additionally, and I'm going to watch the video again to see what Prime was getting at with this, but he had mentioned something about a March 6th or 306, and he was in reference to Trump and MLK, and the relationship that Alveda King and President Trump have, and the continual bond and relationship between the Kings and the Trumps, based upon that. So when we go back to 2016 election, the Electoral College votes were as such: 306 were for Trump, and then 232 were for Hillary Clinton. We now go to the 2020 election, where Biden got 306, supposedly got 306 electoral votes, and Trump got 232. We all know it was, not the case. However, to me, what this says is just like what the enemy does, just like what the devil does with God's numbers, they are specifically just flipping them to flip Trump the bird. That's basically it. They're like, we're going to win it and do the same numbers just to shove it in your face. That's what that is to me. Because as we all know, the numbers were not, those were not the correct numbers. But I'm going to look more into what that 306 was. I did think that, I don't know how, again, that relates to MLK, but check out that Prime Minister video on YouTube. And he goes into a bit of depth about that. So yeah, just a chart that speaks of, a strong leader who's divinely connected, whose ultimate heart's desire and urge in his soul was to better the people, to bring everybody together and to heal. So not surprised, not at all surprised that that's how his chart reads out. And yeah, so God bless Martin Luther King Jr. and his family and everything that he did to try to heal us and bring us together. May we all, live the values that he talked about and that he pushed out there and promoted and fought for with peace. And may we be healed. All right. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. As everybody knows, we don't know what's coming in the next couple of days. If they take this down, I'll be on I gave you guys my email address and my .crypto site. I'll be getting that up ASAP, and I'll be on here as much as possible until then. In the interim, read your Bibles, get close to God, stay prayed up. God wins at the end of the day. Fear is not from God, so we're not going to be afraid. The only ones that run are the wicked, They run when there is no reason to run. But the righteous are bold as lions. So that's what we are to be right now, is bold lions. Okay, guys? Be peaceful. Stay away from, any sort of capitals. Patriots aren't going to any sort of rallies. I'm sure everybody's heard that. So don't do it. We're not going to be out there. We're not going to be held responsible for any of the shenanigans that Anquifa and the rest of them want to do, just so we're accused of those. All right, guys. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired and distracted tonight, but wanted to definitely get up a video for MLK in honor of this special day for him. Okay. Prayers up to everybody. God bless, and I hope to see you guys soon. All right, take care.